What's up, everybody? Welcome to our junior high interactive family experience. My name is Pastor Ethan, and today is Easter Sunday. It is time to bring on all the egg hunts, all the food, the feasts, the desserts, the candy, the chocolate. It's time to get one more Cadbury Cream Egg McFlurry at McDonald's, one more bag of Marshmallow Peeps, another Reese's Pieces peanut butter egg, more jelly beans, more Whoppers Robin eggs. To be honest, as I'm saying all this out loud, my stomach is already starting to ache at the thought of eating all of that food and candy, so maybe don't eat all of your Easter treats all at once. But regardless of whether you're gonna risk it today with the stomach ache or not, I love the Easter season. And no, I don't just love the Easter season because it's socially acceptable to eat a chocolate Easter bunny that weighs about 5 pounds. I love the Easter season because of what Jesus did for you and I so long ago. And we're gonna get into that and talk more about it in just a little while. But before we do that, let me quickly tell you what you can expect for today. We're gonna have some Easter family competition. We're gonna head into week 2 of a series called No Matter What. And then all throughout our teaching video today, we are gonna pause for some discussion time. Now parents, today you are gonna lead your student in a few different activities and discussions. And those activities can be found and downloaded from an email I sent out this past week. If you didn't get that email, make sure you let me know so we can add it to our mailing list. The best way to do these interactive experiences is by leading those activities and discussions with your student. It gives you a clearer window into the spiritual development of your student, and it just helps you create a space where you are coming alongside of them and helping them grow into who God created them to be. So if you need to pause the video and go and download those activity pages, please do so now. Well, we are about to get into our series, but before we do, we would love to hear from you. We want to stay connected and check in, and so we have something called a connection card where we can do that. The connection card is found right on the main page of the LakePoint app, and so we would love if you would take the next 60 seconds and fill out the card. It's basically like signing our guest book and just letting us know you were here. So let's take the next minute and fill out the card together. Thanks for completing the connection card and signing our guest book. Now, every week here at Junior High, we have some friendly family competition. And today, you and the family are gonna put your reaction speed to the test. This is a game called Musical Stairs. Yes, you heard me correctly, musical stairs, not musical chairs. This is a game that's going to test you and your family's reaction speed. So, similar to musical chairs, we are going to play some Easter-themed music. And while the music is playing, you're going to be, dancing around and in whatever room you're watching in. Then, we are going to abruptly stop the music. And as soon as you hear the music stop, you must immediately freeze and stare at a family member. If you fall, you're out. If you move slightly, you're out. If you get caught not staring at a family member, you're out. If you end up getting out, then you must sit down. Now, the winning player will be the one who is left standing, the one who lasts the longest. Are you ready? All right, everyone stand up, start dancing. We're gonna play our Easter tunes in 3, 2, 1.
The bunny, whoa, I love the bunny. I don't love my soup or my bread, just the bunny. The bunny, yeah, I love the bunny. I gave everything that I had for the bunny. I don't want no health food when it's time to feed. A big bag of bunnies is all that I need. I don't want no buddies to come out and play. I'll sit on my sofa, eat bunnies all day. I won't eat no beans, and I won't eat tofu. That stuff is for sissies, but bunnies are cool.
I don't want no pickles, I don't want no honey. I just want a plate and a fork and a bunny. I don't want a tissue and my nose is runny. I just want a plate and a fork and a bunny. I don't want to tell you a joke that is funny. I just want a plate and a fork and a bunny. I don't want to play on a day that is sunny. I just want a plate and a fork and a bunny. I don't want no pickles, I don't want no honey. I just
whoa,
want a
I
plate
love
and
the
a fork and a
bunny.
bunny.
I don't love my soup or my bread, just the bunny. The bunny, yeah, I love the bunny. I gave everything that I had for the bunny.
All right, I'm so curious to know who won musical stairs. Let us know by taking a photo of you and the family participating together and post it on our LakePoint Junior High Facebook group, or you can just email it to me at ethan@lakepoint.church. I'm going to be really generous this week, and everyone who submits a photo and shares that on our Facebook group or emails to me, I'm just going to give you a $10 gift card. That's everyone. No draw, no nothing. Every single person who posts gets a gift card. So feel free to pause and take the next few minutes to go ahead and do that. All right, we're gonna switch gears and head into the teaching portion of junior high. And I'm really excited for this week's video in our series called No Matter What. So let's check it out.
Now it's time for arts and crafts with Tyler. Now you can make anything you want with marshmallow peeps. Just, you know, a tallest tower. And that was arts and crafts with Tyler. In middle school, my dad's job was a salesperson. And for a little while, he sold office furniture. And then for a while, he sold trucks, which in middle school, as a middle school guy, was the coolest thing ever. He would sell these like huge like semi trucks, like the things you see on the highway that are just like, okay, that's a big truck. Or sometimes he would sell tow trucks. Now, what was cool about this was he would bring trucks home every once in a while. So I'd like, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. What's that in my driveway? It's a huge truck. What's that doing there? One day, he brings home the coolest truck I've ever seen. Now, I don't know if you've seen a truck like this. It was basically like a pickup truck if you like took a pickup truck and multiplied it by 3. It's math. Basically, big pickup truck. I've even got a picture, I'll show you. Cool pickup truck. So that was what was sitting in my driveway, and my dad says, all right, it's time to go to youth group. It's time to go to our Wednesday night youth group, my middle school gathering at my church, and we're gonna take this pickup truck. And I think, this is the coolest thing I've ever done. So we hop in, go for a drive. My dad drops me off at church, and I can see my friends in the parking lot, and they're there, and they're like, whoa, look at that cool truck. Next thing you know, boom, I step out of the truck, and I'm like, what's up, guys? And they're like, is that your truck? Do you own that? And I'm just like, no. But it's cool, right? But just for that day, I felt so cool and so important. Now, have you ever been there? Like people around you knew that you were important? Like you were on top of the world, like you were seen and you were noticed and you were valued by the people around you. Maybe your latest TikTok went viral, or you're the top scorer in your sport. Maybe you're the smartest person in your class, or you just got voted class president. Maybe you recently earned your black belt in martial arts. Now, if you've ever had an experience like that, then you know just how good it feels to be seen as important to somebody else. If we're all honest, I think we'd also say there are places in our lives where we don't feel so important. And that feeling, it's not so awesome. It's less awesome. Maybe you're not playing as well in soccer as you'd like, or maybe you just can't understand math, but everybody else in the class seems to just like get it. Maybe you feel like you're an outsider at school and you wonder if anybody even knows your name. Maybe nobody ever likes or comments on the videos you post, or nobody invites you to hang out. Things like that, they make us feel anything but important, don't they? I think the reality is that most of us probably feel unknown or unimportant at some point. We wonder if we're really noticed or seen by the other people at school or at home or even here at church. It seems like only certain people get to feel important all the time. And we're just lucky to feel important every once in a while. Now, if you've ever felt that way, first, I wanna say, I'm so glad you're here. My hope is that when you're here, you're treated with dignity and respect no matter what. My hope is that we would see all people as important and worthy of love. And second, I want to tell you a story about somebody else who probably felt just like we do sometimes. Somebody who didn't think they were all that important. And what's cool is that as we look at this story, we'll see that Easter actually shows all of us one really big truth. We're important to the one who is most important. Today, we're actually gonna talk about the most important event in the Christian faith. And to start, we're gonna see what this incredible woman named Mary had to do with it. Now, when you hear the name Mary from the Bible, you may think immediately about Mary, the mother of Jesus. Or maybe you've heard the story of a guy named Lazarus and his sisters, Mary and Martha. Now, you might think that we're talking about one of those Marys today. You'd be wrong. Different Mary. While both of those are pretty important women in the Bible, they're not the Mary we're talking about today. This Mary may not have been the most well-known Mary, but what we're about to learn about her life is powerful. This Mary was from a small fishing village called Magdala, so she was known as Mary Magdalene. Now, here's the thing, it's actually a pretty big deal that we can talk about any of these Marys today. Because at the time they lived, women didn't have a lot of rights or freedoms or opportunities like the men did in their culture. That's actually one reason there are a lot more men talked about in the Bible than women. And that's also what made Jesus so interesting. In a culture that gave women less rights, less leadership, and less opportunities, Jesus went out of his way to value women and give them opportunities. In fact, we know that during his life and ministry, he was close to Mary Magdalene. He knew her by name. He saw her as important. We know this because some of Jesus' closest followers, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, recorded it for us in the Bible. And because Jesus was close to Mary Magdalene, she's included in the story we read every year at Easter. She's a part of the event that shaped our Christian faith. So, let's take a look. Mary was standing outside the tomb crying, and as she wept, she stooped and looked in. She saw two white-robed angels, one sitting at the head and the other at the foot of the place where the body of Jesus had been lying. "Dear woman, why are you crying?" the angels asked her. "Because they have taken away my Lord," she replied, "and I don't know where they have put him." So, to catch us up, Jesus had just been killed. He was crucified on a cross, which was a horrible and public death that friends like Mary Magdalene witnessed. Then he was buried in a tomb. And because she cared so much about him, Mary went to visit Jesus' grave. But what did she find? That it was empty. Empty, empty, empty. Did somebody move his body? Thinking that that happened, Mary began to weep even more. Then we learned that Mary was visited by two angels who wanted to know why she was so sad. And you're telling me, wait, angels? That's amazing. But right after that, something amazing happened that took Mary totally by surprise. Something that changed things not just for Mary, but for all of us who believe in Jesus even still today. Take a look. She turned to leave and saw someone standing there. It was Jesus, but she didn't recognize him. "Dear woman, why are you crying?" Jesus asked her. "Who are you looking for?" She thought he was the gardener. "Sir," she said, "if you have taken him away, tell me where you have put him, and I will go and get him." "Mary," Jesus said. She turned to him and cried out, "Rabboni," which is Hebrew for teacher. So there Mary was, weeping over the death of her friend and teacher. And then just like that, another person appeared. Now, of course, thinking Jesus was dead, she didn't recognize that it was him. After all, she saw him die. But then Jesus used Mary's name. He wanted her to know that it was him, that he knew her, that he saw her. And when he spoke her name, she recognized him immediately. And of course, she was in shock. See, Jesus had just risen from the dead. That's what we celebrate at Easter as the resurrection. Now, resurrection, what that means is to resurrect something means to bring something back to life. So at Easter, we remember that Jesus died on a cross and was buried in a tomb. And then we celebrate the fact that he walked out of the tomb 3 days later. In other words, he came back to life, which is what we call the resurrection. See, Jesus' resurrection is so important. Because of it, we can trust that God is who he says he is. Jesus spent years in his ministry telling his followers that this very thing would happen, that his death and his resurrection were coming, and that these events would change everything. And then it actually happened. It was all true. And because of that, we can believe all the things Jesus promised to us are true too. We can walk confidently knowing that we can be close to God. Jesus made that possible for us for eternity through the resurrection. That's what makes Easter so important. And one of the reasons we know this important thing happened is because Mary was there to see him. She witnessed it with her own eyes, and she followed through on an important task. Take a look. "Don't cling to me," Jesus said, "for I haven't yet ascended to the Father. But go, find my brothers and tell them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene found the disciples and told them, "I have seen the Lord." Then she gave them his message. Mary was the first person to witness the resurrection. She was the person he asked to share the good news with his closest followers. And I love how this passage ends. She gave them his message. I mean, talk about an important job. Because Mary believed, she knew what Jesus' resurrection meant. She said yes to sharing that message with the rest of his followers. She is one of the reasons we have record of those moments still today. And that makes her an important piece of the most important event in our faith, Jesus' resurrection. So maybe you felt unimportant. Maybe you feel like nobody else sees or notices you, that people don't understand you, that God would never choose or love you. Well, let me just assure you that what we celebrate every year at Easter proves that you are not only important, but you're important to God. He sent his son, Jesus, to die for you, to come back to life so you can be close to him forever. He did that because of his love for you. He did that because your life is important to him. Here's what I want you to remember. Easter reminds us we're important no matter what. God chose somebody like Mary Magdalene to help spread the word about the resurrection. He chose her to be an important part of the story. And what's cool is that the same can be true for us. God didn't just send Jesus to die for those people back then. His resurrection wasn't just to help them. He didn't just want people like Mary to know he saw and cared for them. He did it for us too. No matter how other people see us, no matter how we feel, the resurrection proves that we're loved, we're seen, we're chosen, and we have value. Easter reminds us we're important no matter what. The question is, how do we begin to believe that? First, I think we need to think about how we see ourselves. Do you believe that you're important? To God? To those around you? Even to yourself? Do you talk down to yourself? Do you allow negative thoughts or words about who you are or how others see you take up space in your mind? Do you let other people treat you poorly or hurt you or talk down to you? Do you think you deserve to be treated badly because you think you're not important? Do you think God even cares about you at all? Take a moment to get honest with yourself. Think about the way you feel about yourself. Ask God to remind you this Easter that his love is for you. To him, you are seen, known, and valued. So much so that his son Jesus died and rose again just so he could be with you. And that makes you important. Next, think about how you treat others. One of the most important things we can do this Easter is show Jesus' love to others. And we can start by treating others with the same value that Jesus did. We can show people, no matter who they are, that they're important to us by listening to them, inviting them to be a part of our group, standing up for them when they're being mistreated, learning about people of different races, ethnicities, or religions, or simply saying hello in the hallway. Doing that not only shows that we care, but it gives them a glimpse of God's love working through us. It shows them they're important. Remember, Easter reminds us we're important no matter what. And one of the best places to practice this is in your group. There you have a leader who values you, somebody who believes you are so very important. And they want to help you not only begin to believe this about yourself, but to show it to other people as well. Happy Easter.
I love that reminder. That Easter reminds us that we're important no matter what. It's a reminder that we're loved, we're seen, we're chosen, we have value. Maybe today you're feeling sad. Maybe it's because we're once again in a provincial shutdown. Maybe it's because you feel like with everything going on in the world, you aren't being noticed. Maybe you feel like others don't understand your thoughts and your feelings. Maybe you feel unimportant and that God doesn't see or care about you. And so, wherever you're at today, I want you to know that we celebrate Easter every year because it reminds us that you're not only important, but you're important to God. I mean, he sent his son Jesus to die and come back to life for you. And you know, that sounds amazing, but how do we begin to actually believe that? Well, as we learned today in our video, we need to think about how we see ourselves. You need to get honest with yourself and think about the way you feel about you. And then ask God to remind you how he thinks about you. Ask him to remind you that you're seen, you're known, you're valued, you're important. And next, we have to think about how we treat others. We have to start treating others with the same value that Jesus treats us with. It's not something that we hold on to just for us. It's something that we give to someone else so that they know they're seen, known, valued, and important, just like you and I. Remember, Easter reminds us we're important, no matter what. Thank you so much for participating today. Remember to post a photo of your family participating today in our LakePoint Junior High Facebook group, and you'll automatically get a $10 gift card to a store or a restaurant of your choice. To close our time this morning, take the next 2 minutes to pray together as a family, and then head to the LakePoint app to access our weekday devotionals that go along with our series. You'll find those in the Family Resources section, or you can find the link in the video description right below me. Have a wonderful week, friends. Have an incredibly amazing Easter. We'll see you next week.